Now, 18 years since she first stepped into the den, Deborah Meaden has changed the lives of countless entrepreneurs.
I was in the zone then, because I was reading this, and I was like, this is brilliant. This should be on the syllabus.
I know.
Now she's sharing the knowledge that was made her one of the UK's most successful businesswomen. She releases a new book to help younger generation with their finances.
Now, Deborah's here now to tell us all about the brand-new book. I know you've done another book before this, haven't you?
I did. So I wrote a book for 6 to 9-year-olds, because actually we start forming our money habits as early as 5.
Really?
Is that right?
Absolutely. And that's usually through example. You know, how are your parents spending their money? So I wrote that book, and I sort of sat back and thought, you know, and I did it because I thought it was a book that needed writing, and gave myself about 5 minutes, and then realised that there was a massive gap for the next generation. And they're the ones who are facing into careers. You know, they're the ones who are getting a bit anxious about life. So that's why
so what age range would you say this should be for?
Well, it's from 12 to 16, but I do say a lot of years either side, because actually the amount of adults who have said, I didn't know how crypto worked until I read your book, you know, it's whoever thinks will find it helpful.
We were saying this in the break, there's a certain implied knowledge. We think that people, everyone, myself, like, you know, you think you're sort of sold these products, and there's a sort of like, well, you know the basic level of this. And that's just great to have it completely explained from the base. I mean, this should be taught at schools.
Yeah, well, you're right. I shouldn't have to write the book. You know, this should be stuff that is known. But it's so true. Things like crypto, they've just entered the vernacular. People talk about them as if we all know how crypto works and all know what Bitcoin is.
I haven't got a clue.
Exactly. And that book starts from the beginning.
Really?
You know,
but even if it's something that, like, you know, because crypto is an option, right? We can choose to, but even something that's definitely going to impact on our lives, whether that's inflation, interest rates,
a mortgage,
the base rate inflation, mortgage. You know, those things are just so important for everyone. Like you said, there's just assumed knowledge that we all know what that means.
Yeah. Well, I remember, and actually I was quite lucky because we did talk a lot about money. We didn't have a lot when I was small, so there was a lot of conversation about money. But you're kind of let out into the world, you know, expected to know stuff that you've never been taught. Why would you?
It's the weirdest thing. And you say that you didn't have much growing up. Do you think that was a plus for you when you look back?
Do you know, this isn't true for everybody, because, you know, I was in a safe environment, but my mother literally, she, you know, got divorced. I was 18 months old. She had nothing. She didn't take any money at all. She took 2 children. That was it. And the gift in that, it was tough, and it was tough for her. It wasn't tough for us. But the gift in that is that I saw an example of how you know, what you can do to build your life out of that. And I said that's not true for everybody, but I felt it was a bit of a gift for me.
Yeah.
Deborah, how could this be? How could money management be on the school curriculum? Should it be the fact that everyone should be doing economics as a GCSE? Should this be taught? I mean, how do you think tangibly this could be rolled out?
It needs to start very, very young. Money threads through everything we do in life. It shouldn't be taught as a separate subject. It needs to be referred to. Yeah, that's not true. Of course, there are certain aspects of it that, you know, technically you need to know how to understand it. But it needs to be taught from a very, very young age, because it's not this separate thing. You're not going to get through life, you know, if you don't understand money, you know.
Yes, that begins at home, though, doesn't it? And it's not necessarily through sitting kids down and talking to them. It is like your mother did, leading for example.
Absolutely right. But talking to them as well, and we're not good at that. You know, it's called Deborah Meaden Talks. We don't like talking about money. It's weird. You know, we're not really very good at it.
It is weird. Because I don't know why we don't talk about money more and give each other advice. I can remember a piece of advice Rylan always said to me. He said, make sure whenever you get paid, Alison, half it and put it in another account. Because we have to sort our own tax, national insurance and everything. Just half your money, put it in another account.
Brilliant advice, because actually your tax is never going to be half. So you also get a bit of a bonus at the end of it. You pay your tax, and instead of thinking, oh, no, I can't pay my tax bill, what you actually think is, oh, I've got some more money.
And you know, in that account, that's my money. I can spend that, but that I can't.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Deborah, we covered a piece in the news earlier on about kids kind of being incentivised to do chores around the home for a bit of pocket money. And it was largely sort of positive. Do you think it's a good idea?
I do think it's a good idea, but I also think that there's a part... We also need to learn that it's OK to do things for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, there's OK to charge for things. And I talk about this. This isn't a get-rich-quick book.
Yeah.
This is a how to have a happy and healthy relationship for money. And part of that is doing things for free. You know, that's rewarding in itself. And knowing what you should help people out with and actually what you can charge for, you know.
And the weirdest thing is, when you do some things for free, it leads on to something. I actually might meet somebody where you get a job, you might meet a new friend.
Yeah.
It's actually a good thing to do things for free sometimes. I always say to my son, do you know what? Because he says, oh, no, I'm not getting paid for this gig. I go and do it. Because you're getting your skills, you're still doing your skills, you're still doing your DJing. Go and do a freebie. It's fine to do that.
And experience is so valuable.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You'd pay for experience and, you know, giving something for free is a way of getting it. It's brilliant.
But you always seem to be, like, the empathetic face of entrepreneurship. So, you know, there's something kind of quite unpalatable sometimes when people are just chasing the profit for profit's sake and to hell with whatever
I saw
gets
the
in the
clip
way.
you showed of me earlier and I didn't look very empathetic, although I did invest in him.
Right. But what I love about you is there's always a kind of a human cost to everything here. And I think, how important is that if you are starting a business? Because, you know, I've just been filming in Ireland and every single place I go about food, every single place I go, people say it's all about people. It's the investment in people.
All about people. Do you know, I was part of a study about leadership and 10,000 people across the world were interviewed and the key thing in terms of the difference between leadership and management was empathy.
Wow.
People follow empathetic leaders, you know, because you're tuned into the world, you know when there's something not quite, you know, this isn't quite right here, we need to... It's in your gut.
Yeah, it's in your gut.
Empathy is really, really important.
Yeah.
It's amazing how few people that are top of their game, like, you know, some people seem to lack that. You know, they're statistic like quite a lot of psychopaths CEOs.
Well, it's quite dangerous when you get to be a CEO because, of course, you think everybody agrees with you, so you think you're right all of the time, you know, and I always encourage, listen, if we're sitting in a meeting, if we're sitting in a room full of people, I want you to challenge me. I don't care how robust I am. I don't care how much I sound really... I need challenging, you know.
So
and do you know
listen.
what? If I get out of order, tell me about it.
Yeah,
you know?
I love that.
Brilliant.
Are you doing Dragon's Den again?
We start filming next week.
Oh, brilliant. How exciting.
I know.
The same gang back.
Same gang. And we'll have guests again this year.
Oh,
you don't have advisors, because a lot of people say you've got advisors. That's not true, is it?
Absolutely not.
I
No,
knew it
good
wasn't.
heavens, no.
You
because it's
decide,
our money.
it's your money,
it's our
so
money.
you decide on that moment.
Absolutely. Although, so we decide on the moment, we make an offer, so that's what would happen in business, in the world out of there, and then we do due diligence outside of the den.
Oh, OK.
So we have, you know, we have a moment to say, look, all that stuff that we heard, we agreed, is it all right?
In principle we're in, but we need to obviously look at the...
And what's lovely in the book, you've got, like, podcast-style interviews. Stephen Bartlett's in there, Joe Lycett. You've got some great people
Sophie, the wonderful Sophie Ellis-Bextor.
Yeah.
You know, great advice on careers.
But there it is. Deborah Meaden talks money.
Yeah, thanks, Deborah.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.